I remember the first night we made love. It was unexpected, almost as if all the tension between us had finally reached a breaking point. We were at my house after the fashion show, where Calvin had surprised me with his maturity and kindness. As the night wore on, we found ourselves closer than ever. His touch was gentle, almost hesitant at first, but as our eyes met, the hesitation melted away. He held me like I was something precious, something fragile, and in that moment, I let go of all my fears and insecurities. It felt like the world outside had disappeared, leaving just the two of us in that perfect, intimate moment. His kisses were soft, filled with a tenderness I hadn't felt in years. I could feel the warmth of his body against mine, and for the first time in a long time, I felt alive. We moved together slowly, deliberately, as if savoring every second. My mind was racing with a mix of emotions: guilt, excitement, and something I hadn't felt in a long time: happiness. In those moments, I wasn't the 40-year-old single mother weighed down by responsibilities and stress. I was just a woman, lost in the arms of someone who saw me for who I was. When I woke up the next morning, reality came crashing back. My sister and her child had come home unexpectedly, and they were shocked to find Kelvin there. I could feel the embarrassment flooding my face, but he remained calm, flashing his charming smile. Despite the awkwardness, there was something between us now that couldn't be denied. Later that day, I found myself thinking about him constantly, replaying the moments we had shared. But I knew I had to focus on my work, especially with the upcoming project where I had to find a new model. My boss had noticed Calvin helping a model who had fallen at the fashion show, and he insisted I bring him in for a photo shoot. Although I was hesitant at first, I knew this could be a great opportunity for him. When I approached Calvin about the idea, he was reluctant but eventually agreed. The next day, he arrived at my office, playfully interacting with my colleagues, making them laugh. For a brief moment, I felt a sense of pride seeing him there, fitting in so effortlessly. However, things took a dark turn when one of my co-workers made a snide comment, implying that the only reason I still had my job was because of Baltimore. The words cut deep, not only for me but for him too. He stormed out, furious, believing I had been using him all along to boost my career. His harsh accusations left me heartbroken. I tried to explain that my feelings for him were real, that I cared for him more than he knew, but he refused to listen. He told me never to contact him again, leaving me shattered and alone once more. The months that followed were some of the loneliest I had ever experienced. I threw myself into my work, trying to forget him, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get him out of my mind. Kevin had become a part of my life, and the void he left was impossible to fill. I missed him, not just for the comfort and joy he brought me, but for the connection we had shared. It wasn't just about the physical, it was deeper than that. He made me feel alive again, and without him, everything seemed dull and lifeless. One day, after months of silence, I couldn't take it anymore. I knew I had to make things right, even if it meant risking everything. I went to his college, my heart pounding with every step. As I walked into his classroom, all eyes were on me, but I didn't care. I had to see him, to apologize, to ask for forgiveness. When Calvin looked up and saw me, I could see the surprise in his eyes. Slowly, I walked toward him, my heart in my throat. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I never meant to hurt you." For a moment there was silence, and then before I knew it, we were kissing. It was as if all the pain, all the misunderstandings had melted away in that one moment. His students looked on in shock, but neither of us cared. We left the classroom together, the tension between us thick in the air as we walked in silence. The emotions swirling inside me were too much to put into words. The moment we reached his apartment, the door had barely closed behind us before Kelvin pulled me into his arms, kissing me with an intensity that took my breath away. There was a desperation in the way we held each other, as if all the time we had spent apart had only heightened the connection we couldn't deny. His hands moved off my back, and I found myself clinging to him, needing to be close, to feel the warmth of him against me. In the quiet of the room, everything else faded away. I could feel the heat of his body against mine, his heartbeat in sync with my own as we moved toward the bed. Each touch felt like a long-awaited reunion, soft and tender, yet filled with an urgency we could no longer hold back. The world outside ceased to exist, leaving only the two of us, lost in each other. As his lips found mine once more, everything that had once seemed so complicated now felt simple. All that mattered was this moment, this closeness, this undeniable connection. Our movement slowed, becoming more deliberate, savoring each second as if we knew how precious this was. The months apart, the misunderstandings, and the pain seemed like distant memories as we gave in to the love we had tried so hard to fight. In that quiet, intimate space, we found a way back to each other, not through words, but through the way our bodies spoke, the way our hearts connected. When we finally lay still, wrapped in each other's arms, I knew without a doubt that this was where I was meant to be. We had found our way back to each other, and that was all that mattered. I could see the forgiveness in his eyes, and for the first time in months, I felt at peace. The movie of our lives didn't end there. Baltimore, my child, and I began a new chapter together. We weren't perfect, but we had each other, and that was enough. The love we had found, despite all the obstacles and misunderstandings, had brought us together in a way neither of us had expected. And as we stood together, ready to face whatever came next, I knew that this was only the beginning.